With 6 days until the Reds return to competitive action at Manchester City, they conclude their training camp in the United Arab Emirates today with their second friendly fixture in the Dubai Super Cup. After defeat to Lyon on Sunday, today's clash sees a reunion with AC Milan, a side Liverpool, of course, beat twice in last season's Champions League group stage. Kick-off is at 3:30 UK time, that is 7:30 locally at the Al Maktoum Stadium. And for anyone following this build-up show on social media right now, the full game is going to be available to watch live on LFC TV Go globally, as well as on LFC TV in the UK and Ireland as well. Details of how you can become a subscriber can be found online right now at liverpoolfc.com/watch. Yeah, it's been a freezing cold week here on Merseyside, but it is a warm welcome here in the studio on Matchday Live to Neil Mellor and Jay Spearing this afternoon. We're going to hear from the lads very shortly, but first, without further ado, let's take a look at the starting 11 Jurgen Klopp has chosen for today's meeting with the Serie A champions. And it is a pretty experienced starting 11 for Liverpool this afternoon. Plenty of younger faces on the bench, though. But the team that starts the game is as follows. Kevin Kelleher is in goal. It's a back four today of James Milner, John Matip, Joe Gomez and Andy Robertson. Then in midfield for Liverpool, Stefan Bajcetic, Harvey Elliott slightly to the right of him, Thiago slightly to the left. Then a front three today of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino. And you can see there on the bench, he returned to the training camp this week, Darwin Nunez. So it's a warm welcome in the studio to Neil Mellor and Jay Spearing. Without further ado, because we're kicking off in under half an hour, so Jay, what's your thoughts on the team?
Pretty strong, pretty experienced, I think. Very similar team to last week, the Lyon game. I could see probably most of them plays there probably playing close to an hour. I think the boss has already said that they'll probably play close to that, so I can see them all playing at least that ready for next week's game with City, and hopefully the young lads getting on and getting half an hour at least.
Yeah, it's only one change, isn't it, from that last game against Leon Carvalho dropping out for it was Oxlade-Chamberlain coming in. I think one of the benefits looking at that team is Matip able to start again. He got 45 minutes the other day and you're thinking, how's he going to recover? Is he going to be okay to go again? Well, he is, so that's good news. Harvey Elliott, he went off in that first half and you were thinking surely not an injury, and it's proved not to be the case. It was only a little knock, so he's back fit. So a couple of positives as well, and it is a really strong lineup, isn't it, like you say? Yeah. Under a week now before that City game to look forward to.
Yeah, it is 6 days until that Carabao Cup game with Man City, 10 days till Premier League action resumes, which is of course on Boxing Day against Aston Villa. I mean, these friendlies are whetting our appetites, aren't they? But how much have you missed that regular action in the Premier League?
Yeah, it's been really quiet. Something that I don't think anybody's been used to, having a World Cup in the winter time, and I think it's put a lot of people like not down, but like it's been quiet. There's not been much to watch on TV, and normally the football's going constantly, and coming up to Christmas time is the busiest period that anybody sees of football. Everyone gets excited for it, so to really having it coming back and to see it coming back again on Boxing Day and then carrying on over the Christmas period, it's a really good timing for everybody.
There's been a lot of World Cup games on TV.
Yeah, they're not the same. They're not the same, are they?
It's petered out the past week or two,
the Premier League for me is the main one, and obviously we watch England, but with obviously the job now for myself, it's been quite busy and been unable to watch too many games.
It's been majorly disruptive, hasn't it, to something we've never known before.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And that's what's different. I think when you look at the other European leagues, they always have a winter break, so they're used to that sort of break anyway, aren't they? And obviously AC Milan, one of those teams, but for us, I've not enjoyed the break from missing Liverpool, so I enjoyed the game against Lyon, this one as well. To think that we're not far away from the proper action returning. The World Cup has been decent though, it's been some good games.
No, it's been a good tournament, hasn't it? I mean, in terms of Liverpool, obviously, Darwin Nunez now back in the squad today. You'd think, Jay, we will see him at some point, as you said, maybe after the hour mark in the second half. But how good is it to see him back? He was obviously in form before the break.
Yeah, he was, and I kind of felt that he was finding his feet before the break. He started to be more consistent. He was solid. He was causing problems through 90 minutes. It was normally like maybe a half and he'd maybe blow out with his fitness, but he seems to have gathered his fitness. He was scoring goals, and yeah, really looking forward to seeing him getting back on the pitch and getting ready for next week's crucial couple of games coming up.
Yeah, he had 7 goals in his last 10 appearances. You've seen some of them here for Liverpool, Neil. I mean, especially with that blow with Luis Diaz, how important is he going to be in this second half of the season?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, his goals certainly will be. I thought he was just settling in, like Jay just explained there, and the break came at the wrong time, I think, for him, because he got a couple of goals against Southampton, the last Premier League game, and you're thinking, OK, yeah, really developing that understanding with other players. I thought between himself and Salah as well, they were really linking up very well. A disappointing World Cup campaign, I think that's fair to say for him in Uruguay. They would have liked to come out of the groups, but they didn't. But we're just seeing his contributions and his influence in the final third, and that's what Nunez was brought in to do, wasn't it? To score goals. I love this goal. Now, I know Van Dijk wants the goal, but Nunez thrives on goals, so he was absolutely buzzing with that. But that helped him going into this game, because he gets a couple of goals, and all of a sudden, you know, that's what strikers need. So, yeah, hopefully we will see the return of him into the team the way he finished before the World Cup break.
Yeah, fingers crossed he'll pick up where he left off before the break. He obviously arrived this week, but the squad themselves, Jay, have been away for almost 2 weeks now, I think it is. I mean, they've had a bit of downtime in the desert. I'm sure you've been following it. If people have been looking at the players' social media, I'm sure you all have. You'll have seen a lot of camels this week.
Yep.
And it's been a really interesting trip. And do you have pre-seasons like this?
I wouldn't say as good as that, no. We were very lucky in my time to go to Australia. The heat was probably very similar, and it was conditions that probably got you fitter than ever, but this shows the togetherness of the team and how much fun they can have off the pitch as well, and some great photos of being in the desert and having fun and just enjoying their time, but also knowing that probably over the last 10 days to 2 weeks they've done some really hard graft, and the boss will have had them working hard, and the stuff that we've had fed back from the young boys as well, as it's been a real tough experience for them, but the experienced boys who were there have been fantastic for them. They've got around them, they've helped them, and it's been a really good trip all around, and then now we want to finish it off with a win. Trying
to work out who was worst dressed. Simicast with those shorts. Oh. Raspberries, weren't they?
Yeah, there's
I'm jealous.
few dodgy gear there, isn't
Just looking at the sunshine as well, like, you want a bit of vitamin D, don't you, seeing that? Well, it isn't just Darwin Nunez who's been back amongst the Liverpool squad this week. You can see here on Wednesday, the skipper dropped by the Reds training base to say hello to his teammates, and the manager, of course, as well. We are expecting to see Jordan Henderson and his fellow World Cup quarter-finalist Trent Alexander-Arnold, Alisson, Fabinho too, and Virgil van Dijk, of course, back in full training next week. Well, time now to grab a word with the boss. Jurgen Klopp has been catching up with Mark Benstead.
Jurgen, what would you like to see the boys improve on most from the first game going into tonight?
Well, it's actually building on the first half. We played a lot of good situations right in that half. That's it pretty much. We want to be good organised. We want to be super lively against the ball. We want to be flexible with the ball. We just want to put a proper shift in. It's again, all the training sessions look good, and that's obviously important, but then you have to bring it into the games as well. And yeah, Darwin is now here with us, so he will have a few minutes. That's it pretty much. So we want to use the game just to get more minutes in the legs and get more things to work with. That's the plan.
I mentioned Darwin. He is part of the group now. He's trained this week. How has he shown up, given his obviously time away with Uruguay?
Well, he looks incredibly sharp and good, and really calm on the ball. Like, had good sessions since he's here, but we don't want to pause it now. So could he have started? Maybe yes, but it's much more important that he can start next week, and that's why we bring him from the bench. But anyway, he looked really good.
We might not see Divock Origi on the pitch, but will you have a chance to potentially catch up with him? And I just wonder, from your point of view, can you sum up his contribution during your time at the club?
Oh. I get pretty much really emotional when I hear the name. I didn't see him yet. Is he in the squad?
He's in the team, but he's
okay. Because I thought there was a rumor that he got injured in the first game. Yeah, massive contribution. I think most of the things we achieved in the last few years wouldn't have happened without Divock Origi, and so I know, and that will always be the case. He is a Liverpool legend, and when he, in a few years' time, hopefully has another 6, 7, 8 years to play on highest level. But when he looks back, I'm 100% sure the LFC time will be a big very big memories for him as well. And what's most important in life, when you spend so much time somewhere, that you are always welcome when you come back, and that's for sure the case with him. I'm pretty sure the LFC supporters in the stadium tonight, when they see him or hear his name, then they will go mad as well, rightly so. So I can actually not wait to see him.
Best of luck tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, just an update on that. Unfortunately, Divock Origi is not in the Milan squad this evening, so we won't be having a reunion with him this evening, unfortunately. Let's take a look now at what the Dubai Super Cup table looks like. Unfortunately, doesn't look too pretty for Liverpool at the moment. Arsenal, of course, have already claimed the trophy after they beat Milan on Tuesday, and they got a bonus point as well for the penalty shootout victory. Just a reminder, there will be penalties at the end of the 90 minutes today, regardless of what the score is at full time, and a bonus point is available for whoever wins that shootout. Liverpool, of course, hoping to avoid a bottom place finish. I mean, you can't read too much into these tournaments, can you, Jay? It's mainly about fitness. That is what it's all about, fitness, and I don't think the boss has probably even looked at that table. It's something that he will not be concerned with. We got off to a fantastic start against Lyon, as you can see now, and what a better start after our first game. And the first 45 minutes was a real solid, really good 45, and we just seemed to be a little bit lapsed at the back. But I think, like the boss said in his interview as well, he just wants a good shift today. He wants minutes in the legs for the boys coming into a busy period, and the lads will get opportunities. And he mentioned Darwin will get some minutes as well. So they're all the positives that he will be looking at today. Yeah, it was a strange game, that one on Sunday, wasn't it, Neil? Yeah. Because it was so dominant in that first half. Now, as Jay said there, got off to the perfect start after 40 seconds, but obviously the changes as well after the break, that plays a major part too.
Yeah, if you didn't see the game and you saw the scoreline, you're thinking, oh, that's not a good result. But ultimately, we started the game well. Could have been 2-3, even 4-0 up. Missed the penalty, missed other good chances. And one of the areas where Liverpool need to improve in the second half of the season has been getting the first goal. You know, that was something that we didn't do particularly well. I thought we pressed really high as well. I thought that was really encouraging to see. It's about being ready for when we go again. Aston Villa in the Premier League, Man City in the League Cup before that. League table, obviously you don't want to be where we are, but it doesn't really matter. This competition is about being ready, getting the minutes in the players, so that when those games do come along, we are back at it. Yeah, and as Neil mentioned before, it is just the one change from the other day with Ox coming in for Fabio Carvalho. So there will be a bit of consistency there, I think, as well from the boss. Yeah, of course there will be. And I think that the players have known each other long enough now to know what the types of players are. Millie's played all over the pitch and he's able to do so. But the team is very similar, like you say, one change. And they'll be going out tonight looking for a positive performance and getting more minutes in the legs. And one thing as well is this tournament is good for, and pre-season, if you like, 'cause it kind of is a pre-season tournament, is the development of the younger players. We're going to hear in a little bit from Stefan Bajcetic, but just in general, it really does give the boss a chance to cast his eye over them as well. To have a little look, yeah. And for the young players, me and Jay being in that position where you want to impress. As young players, you don't get too many opportunities to impress. We're talking about that next game against City in the League Cup. I think the lads would have been devastated with that draw, because I think maybe we might not get the minutes we might have done if it was somebody else. Now, they impressed against Derby, did really well to put Liverpool in that position. Last year as well, you think about the young players who contributed to both cup successes. But there's a real connection with the first team, the academy. You're down there, you see that. 100%. And these sort of trips are brilliant for the young players. They get to train with the players. They get to see what it's all about under Jurgen and the top senior players. Salah's there, Bobby Firmino. Brilliant for them. Yeah, because we're talking about them getting a chance on the pitch, but so much happens off the pitch as well, doesn't it, in the training camp, and just for them to kind of feel comfortable in that senior setup. Yeah, of course. Going into, which me and Neil have both felt, going into that first team environment is daunting. It's scary. It's nerve-wracking, isn't it? And for them now to be able to go away for 2 weeks, just them, be around them from dinner, for breakfast, for evenings, or whatever the club are doing, going out on days out, which we've just seen, it's perfect for them to get an understanding and talk to them players and have the social with them as well, to be around them and just feel comfortable. So then when you go on the pitch, you are you, and you're not nervous thinking, oh, I've got to extra impress or do extra. Just be you and do what you can do. And to see if they can handle it. Yeah. So say Salah sat there for breakfast, have the bottle to go and sit next to him, and not be too scared for that sort of thing. Show the personality, which I certainly think Jurgen Klopp and the coaching staff will want to see from these young players on this sort of a trip. OK, we are going to head back to the Al Maktoum Stadium now, and we can hear from Stefan Bajcetic with Mark Benstead.
Stefan, the training camp is almost done. What's the biggest thing you've taken from it so far?
I think it's been very helpful for us, for all the team, to get all the ideas right and to do what we need to do and to get back and fight for everything like Liverpool does.
What does it mean to you that the manager's got so much faith in you? He's had you involved here, he's had you involved loads through the season, 5 appearances already. He's got a real belief in you.
Yeah, he's obviously good. I mean, I'm grateful for that and keeps me motivated as well and gives him massive confidence.
What's he said to you about your role within the team? What does he want from you in the team?
I don't know, I just do whatever the gaffer says, and like my role is what the gaffer says it is, so I just do whatever I can.
You got some minutes against Lyon. How useful for that was that? What did you take from that?
It's always positive to have minutes with the first team and that, but it's been good. It's been a good half and I enjoyed it a lot.
And finally, what do you want to get out of today's run out?
Hopefully we can win and show all the city what we can do.
Yeah, Jay's smiling because you're obviously familiar with Stefan from at the AXA Training Centre, and you say he's not one for interviews normally. He's not too talkative.
Not at all. No, that's probably, if I'm honest, that's probably the most I've heard him speak since I've been in the building. He's a very quiet boy, but he's very professional. He's really aggressive in his play. I think we've seen that in small periods of the time that he's been on the pitch for the club. But he's a really bright boy. He knows exactly what he's got to do, and his head's down, and he's really going forward. But he needs to build on his little character and his little bit of talking to people, because with 40,000 or 60,000 at Anfield, they're going to have to hear you if you're talking to another player next year.
I think you have to remember how young he is. He's only 18. You know, he's one of the very, very young players there. Watched him a couple of years ago. He picked up a serious injury. You know, he's one of the best players for the 23s as it was back then. I was thinking, he could burst onto the scene soon. He picked up a big injury. He's recovered from that really well. The manager trusts him. He's come onto the pitch in Champions League games and Premier League games, and he's only 18. That is what the manager and the coaching staff think about him. He's played centre half to start with. Now he's in centre mid, defensive midfield. Reads the game really well. He's had good people around him. You know, his dad was a professional footballer himself. He seems to have the right sort of attitude, the right sort of values about him. I love the way he reads the game. Somebody so young, somebody at 18, he's not scared to get involved, puts his foot in, but yeah, can look after the ball as well. So he's a very exciting young talent. And again, these sort of trips are the ones where he can get a little bit more game time around the senior players, develop that understanding with someone like Thiago next to him, Milner in his ear, and then it becomes a possibility to play in that game against Man City, because Hendo comes back from England, and you're thinking, is he going to have enough time to play against City? You know, you start looking at someone like Bajcetic to play, maybe.
Really bright boy, really good as well. He can go places if he keeps his head down and keeps going.
OK, excited to see what the future holds for him. Well, it is AC Milan who are the opponents today, and Mark Benstead has got details of the Italian champions starting 11 right now.
Thanks, Becky. Yeah, when the season paused for the World Cup, AC Milan was sat second in the Serie A table, albeit 8 points behind the leaders Napoli. They, like Liverpool, have progressed in Europe so far this campaign. They're through to the last 16 of the Champions League, where they'll take on Spurs next year. They had 7 players called up for World Cup duty. 2 are still over in Qatar, and they're doing pretty well. Theo Hernandez and Olivier Giroud both started the semi-final win over Morocco. Hernandez scored the opening goal on the night. Their team for today is a little bit depleted, especially in certain areas, especially up top. The likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic injured, unavailable today, and Divock Origi also out today. He's not able to play against his former side. The Milan team in full then is as follows. Veteran goalkeeper Antonio Morante comes in between the sticks. It's Tommaso Pobega at left back, Pierre Kalulu at right back, Simon Kjaer slots in at centre half alongside Malik Chow. It'll be 2 sitting midfielders of Sandro Tonali, Matteo Gabbia. Ante Rebic will play off the left, Yassine Adli through the middle, and Alexis Saelemaker off the right. He's coming back from a ligament injury, and teenager, the Serbian striker Marko Bajcetic, looks to be the man playing up top. Amongst the Serbs, 2 players that we will know from English football, Timuri Bakayoko and Fikayo Tomori, both formerly, of course, at Chelsea, are amongst the replacements. Liverpool have won all the friendly meetings between these two sides, and of course they won the 2 games in the Champions League with Milan last season. A sad backdrop to this game for the visitors, though, the news emerging out of Italy that the former manager of AC Milan, Stefan Bajcetic, has sadly passed away after a long battle with leukemia.
Yeah, condolences to everyone at AC Milan on that sad news. In terms of the Milan team, Jay, it's a team we're very well acquainted with in the Champions League over the past few seasons. Of course, beat them in both games last season. What do you make of the Milan lineup this afternoon?
Again, I think it's a really solid AC Milan team. I think they have a way of playing in a 4-2-3-1 system. Again, the players will be really ritual in what they do and what their jobs are, and it'll be a tough test for Liverpool again this evening or this afternoon. And I think again they'll be in the same area. They'll need fitness in their legs. They don't start their Serie A campaign until January, so they'll need to be in the similar of what we are. They want to play games, they want to get minutes in the legs, so I think that's probably their main criteria for the game today as well.
Yeah, and obviously they've got some ground to make up in Serie A. They're 8 points behind Napoli at the moment, although they are champions. So.
Yeah, but they are getting back to the Milan we sort of knew. I think it was 10 years for them to win the league. They won it last season. We beat them a couple of times, tough games in the Champions League last season. They've got a good game against Spurs in the knockout stages, so yeah, they're a decent side. Missing a few key players though.
OK, well that is it from Neil, Jay and myself for the moment. We are going to be back at half-time though with analysis of the first 45 up next on LFC TV Go Worldwide and LFC TV in the UK and Ireland. All the action from Liverpool against AC Milan is live.
There's the cross. Lovren! The roof has come off on field!